A portion of this video is sponsored by Surfshark with their award-winning VPN service. More from them later on in this video. So it's been slightly over a month with the Fold 7 and the Flip 7, and I thought let me do a 1-month follow-up video with your comments, Q&A style, and give you my rebuttal and thoughts, and also how they've been holding up. And the future of these devices, what does it hold and what is to come? Well, let's get into it. So these are going to be split between the Fold 7 and Flip 7 content that I posted across the month, and yeah, pretty much going to get into it and give you my thoughts and opinions on them. And we're going to kick things off with this comment which says, good review. I fully agree with you on the UDC. I like that very much. I've been a Fold user since the Fold 2. Shout out to Fold 2 Squad. I actually did a review on that. That's my first Fold, so go check that out. Throwback to the unboxing and the review for that, man. It's been a while. I've been doing this for a minute. And I've used 2 different Chinese folding phones in the meantime, as well being lured back into the impressive hardware. I always returned to Samsung, as the software just works better. I'm really happy with the Fold 7 as well. I think the battery life, given, the change to a few settings and stuff, is actually improved over the Fold 6. Definitely check out my battery drain test for that. The reason none of the mainstream phone manufacturers did the switch to silicon carbon yet is the longevity of the cell. Silicon expands more than lithium when charged, and this could create issues with quick degradation of the battery and safety. And the S Pen, I rarely see people using the pen on the tablet, let alone on a foldable. It's one of those features that comes to mind when asked, but actually no one uses it. Now, that's a very controversial take when it comes to the S Pen. I think by principle, the canvas size of the display really invites that. I think the usability and the convenience is not there like what you get on the S Ultra series. So that's probably the problem in terms of the usability. The telemetry is probably there, saying that not many people bought the extra case and the special S Pen to use it on there. So maybe that's why, but I just think by principle, you've gone 6 generations or so, or 3 generations to be able to use it in terms of I think from the Fold 3s when you could use the S Pen up onto the Fold 6 that has been taken away. So that's a sore point, and I think it's a sore point from things being taken away and the price increasing or staying the same. It's just one of those, give and take situations. But yeah, I love the UDC. I miss that. I've been a Fold 2 user as well. I think it's really, really good what Samsung have done all around with it. I just think by principle, people being up in arms, it's more the principle of the fact that, taking stuff away and increasing the price. Silicon carbon, that's a very interesting one. And I think maybe it's just being able to source enough to put in there. Samsung ship and make a lot of phones globally, even with these foldables. So maybe that's why. But yeah, really appreciate the comment. Glad you enjoyed the review. And yeah, I think this is a very good take. Next comment states that the Z Fold is an absolute masterpiece. Its potential is insane. But I can't shake the feeling that Samsung just doesn't want to give us a truly premium, high-tech, futuristic foldable. Ooh, that's a hot take there. They've got the tech, but they're holding back. And yeah, that's something that is a very lingering thing, right? And of course, not serving up everything on a silver platter. Yeah, I get it. It's all about cost production, marketing, yada, yada. Perfection can be boring, right? But seriously, imagine this Z Fold with a 24 megapixel under display camera. Ooh, that would be juicy. 50 megapixel 5x zoom, a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, and the optimization of One UI 8, plus the S Pen. What's the Fold 8 successor really going to bring that's exciting? Samsung, you're just playing with us. Ooh, I think this is virtue signaling for an ultra flagship. Maybe there's room for a 3-tier system where you've got an ultra, a plus, and a base model. I mean, they've done an FE version of this Fold, right? And this almost makes this feel like this is the middle child, the plus model. So maybe there is room for a truly flagship ultra level where they're not chasing things like thinness and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I really, really appreciate what they've done here. But maybe there is room for an ultra series flagship when it comes to foldables, and maybe Samsung, we're paying this much, give it to us already. Let me know your thoughts, but this is a really good take. Really appreciate it, and thanks for watching the review. Next comment for the Fold 7 is that the Dream Fold is an ultra iteration with all the ultra cameras, S Pen support, UDC, quad cameras, amazing all-day battery life for power users, the top-tier chipset and specs. Yeah, we need that. The highest bit OLED possible, safer screen tech for your eyes, and the blessed return of expandable storage. Oh man, micro SD, bring that back. These things are now more powerful than the average user's PC at home. I emulate PC gaming on my phone. With that, I would want as much space that they can offer. For the top tier price, I want the best of the best. the Fold should be considered their ultra platform. And again, I think this bounces off the previous one where I said that maybe there is room for a 3-tier system, an Ultra, a Plus, and a base model, which you can call the FE, which they've kind of done. Maybe there's room for that, right? Samsung, give it to us. But you know what? Let's just touch on some of the things that they've done already that really feel ultra about it, right? The display experience. I think what they've done with the display experience and the form factor is fantastic. 6.5 inches on the outer display, slim borders. It just feels like a traditional phone. I love what they've done. And I think what they do well in this particular situation is something that really is just to be sought after. And the only thing is not having Gorilla Glass armor like on the S25 Ultra for that anti-glare technology, but the inner display, man, sheesh, they've really done a good job here. 8 inches. Yes, I do miss the under display camera in terms of the clear visual look. It did give Samsung that unique feel and touch, but regardless, the actual screen is really, really good. This crease is improved, still visible in some situation, but still improved. But the canvas, the experience, the display tech, the OLED, you know, look of it, it's just really good. And I think things like when you're watching videos, you're taking pictures, you're looking at your content, things like wallpapers really, really, really pop well. I think the display, alongside obviously now having a 200 megapixel main camera on there, just like what you have the S25 Edge and the S25 Ultra, the main camera system, the 8K capabilities, the HDR, the log, the flexibility to switch between the lenses, I think that is a really ultra high-end experience. Minus the zoom, of course, which I still have qualms again, and I would love to see them get rid of the 3X, go to 5X, 50 megapixels, really improve it there. But yeah, the display experience, that has to be up there. So when viewing things like your wallpapers, your content, yeah, they really, really, really pop. Speaking of wallpapers, I am finally launching a wallpaper pack series. And this is actually in collaboration with CYR Original, aka Mr. Carl Yates himself. He's a friend and colleague of mine. We work together, and this naturally came about because he does some amazing digital art. And I thought, yeah, this is a perfect chance for us to collaborate, you know, because people have been bugging me to have wallpapers and use wallpapers, including my content creator buddies, and I've done it now. We've got a 6-pack series and actually an additional bonus one for free, and this is between the abstract, which is in the ink mode for dark and light, which I really like. I really like the dark mode of the abstract. You've got the bubbles wallpaper, which I think, thinking ahead for iOS 26 when that comes out, that could look really nice for liquid glass. But off the rip, yeah, it looks really nice. And you've got the muted painter color wallpaper, which is subtle, but there's splashes of detail in there that when you look, yeah, it just really sits and makes your OLED display and this, you know, display just look really, really nice. I really like the look of that. Then you've got the nature series, man. Yes, you've got the parakeet and also the woodpecker birds as well. I really like them. They're a nice touch of nature, and there's just good contrast on there. And of course, there's a Lover of Tech wallpaper one that we've thrown in for free. So yeah, definitely check the link in the description below and you can cop them for yourself. Let me know which ones you get. This is something that we're really excited to, you know, venture on because yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I think this is just a great way to bridge the gap. These are some really good wallpapers, and I think, yeah, we're really happy to showcase them to you. You're gonna be seeing more of Carl Yates on the channel throughout the month as well. Great collaborations coming up, and you have a better understanding of, you know, how we came about these things. But for now, yeah, we're really happy to be launching them. Check the link in the description below. Get your wallpapers. Yeah, we've got a slew of different collections there for you. Next comment says that the only deal breaker for me is that when watching videos, it won't go full screen without cutting off part of the video. This is my first time owning a Fold, so hopefully next Fold comes out, they fix that. Well, I think it's not really something to be fixed. It's just the nature of using a foldable, because it's not the full screen experience like you would do on a smartphone. The aspect ratio is different. Obviously, you get that on the outer display because that's more of a traditional screen. But for the inner display, if that's what you're referring to, it's really to give you the full screen experience while still being able to do something else, even within the singular app experience. YouTube is a perfect example of that. You can have the full screen experience horizontally like you would do similar to a smartphone, but actually you're still able to read through the comments while still seeing the video in full screen horizontal effectively. And also you can run other applications as well, you know, whether it's Maps or WhatsApp at the same time while you're walking and watching a video, whatever it is, you've got that flexibility. So I don't think it's necessarily a fix as such, but it's just one of those things where it's the nature of using a foldable. Right, we've answered a couple of questions on the Fold 7. Outside is getting hotter, which I still like, but let's move to a different location indoors and talk more about the Fold 7 and finish up with the Flip 7 as well. All right, so we have arrived in my local Starbucks. got some coffee and going to connect to Wi-Fi, and then actually stick my VPN on to make sure that I am protected, because best thing to do with how I move around in public places and traveling, make sure the VPN's on when it comes to staying protected and connected. As someone that travels out of the country regularly, works in different places outside of home, keeping myself protected when connected online means everything to me, and that's where Surfshark VPN comes in. Most of you know what a virtual private network service is and what it does, but Surfshark takes it further, and these are the main reasons why I use it. You can set up one Surfshark account and use it on an unlimited amount of devices, which, considering how many devices I test and use, this is very handy. For that extra layer of security, you can route through a second VPN layer backed with an additional hidden mode, which hides the fact that you're actually using a VPN, and a kill switch feature, which stops your internet if your VPN drops. Other benefits like Surfshark Search really help to make my online experience safe and protected while staying fast. Unlocking geo-restricted content on apps like Netflix is a lovely bonus, and if you use my special code Lover of Tech at checkout or my special link, you get an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. Don't worry, because if you feel it's not for you, then you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So check out Surfshark VPN for yourself, and thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring a portion of this video. Okay, now we're inside at Starbucks. Let's continue with the rest of the questions for the Fold 7 and look at where we are with it in terms of your thoughts after a month. Now, one of the comments states that the truth I've seen very few people mention: be very careful with scratches on this phone. I've rarely seen paint that's so easy to scratch. And you know what? I've got the blue shadow color, and yeah, I did get a scratch at the bottom here, and this was in the early few days. I think it was on day number 2, and I don't know how that actually came about. Now, mind you, I've not put a case on this. I've been going completely naked, just using it as it is, but yeah, that is actually something to consider, where scratches can come a bit easier, especially on this blue shadow. So yeah, that was a good one. That's something I forgot to mention in the review, so good spot on that with that comment. Really appreciate you watching the review. This one's a big one, so buckle up to your seats, Dorothy, because Kansas City is going bye-bye. Samsung dropped the board again. Shake my head. Same old battery size, same old slow charging, no S Pen, weaker camera compared to the S25 Ultra, no vapor chamber, no under display camera, no anti-glare screen. The speakers, trash. Ooh, that's harsh. Still stuck with 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage since the Fold 2. Sure, it's super thin, but who cares? Meanwhile, Oppo's N5 has a bigger battery, can support on both screens, ouch, and it's barely any thicker. I'm not into other brands, but it stinks when Samsung keeps stripping features and jacking up the price. They say nobody uses the S Pen, but then why keep the inner camera or wireless charging? Most folks don't use that either. They're client off, and it's always fine until you're use something else. Yeah, and I said definitely I can feel the frustration on this one, and that is the thing right there. It's the balancing act, right? And I think all those things mentioned are justified. There's no ifs or buts. I think Samsung is playing in a different, field when it comes to like global shipments, but it's, how long can you really ride that as the reason before anything actually majorly changes and happens? So, you know what? I'm on your side. I feel your frustration. Yes, they're playing in different fields. Samsung is way more global in terms of shipments, but you see this and it does become frustrating if you're someone that's committed to the Fold TV since the Fold 2. You don't want to get to this point and feel like all the cool features that you enjoyed are being taken away, but things are going up. So yeah, thanks for the comment. I really appreciate it and embrace these frustrations. This one says Samsung has been chasing thinness and lightness for 7 years. I'll come back when they give some love to the cameras, charging speeds, battery life, and stop removing features. Now, I will say that the cameras have greatly improved. But again, I'm on your side where I said it in my review. I would still want the camera system that we saw on the Note 20 Ultra, where there's a 5x main camera and an ultra wide. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why mainly moving away from the S25 Ultra is going to be hard for me. I was using this compared to the S25 Ultra, and honestly, that 5x zoom is something that was coming in clutch on a regular basis. So yeah, moving away from that, yes, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and let's see, because at least I appreciate how much they've tried on this form factor build quality, displays, the main camera, ultra wide, and the selfie. But yeah, there's a lot more left on the table to give. So appreciate the comment and thanks for watching the review. Now that's all the questions on the Fold 7. And let me finish up my coffee, finish up some admin, and we'll head home and look at the Flip 7 questions and round this up. Okay, so we are back indoors and we are gonna wrap things up with the Flip 7. Now, the content engagement on the Flip 7 was way lower compared to the Fold 7, but yeah, just picked out the ones that are of good interest. And this comment basically says, it's okay to try and move away from the industry standard flagship Snapdragon chips and put their own. Currently still at least one generation lagging behind in terms of the chipset, but they shouldn't price it as a flagship product. Oh, that's a real hot take, isn't it? Especially without a camera when it comes to the upgrade since the last generation and only 12 gigabytes of RAM. I suspect that in a few months, it will be around $800 or euros or pounds. Yeah. What this basically refers to is that the Galaxy Flip 7 and the Flip 7 FE, which is an interesting move to introduce a fan edition FE model. But for focusing on the Flip 7, this is the first one to not have a Snapdragon chip. All around is using the new Exynos 2500, which is built on the 3nm chipset and fabrication from Samsung, which I believe is either their first or second generation. This is quite a controversial move because with the FE, that's the Exynos 2400. And yeah, that whole contention between Snapdragon and Exynos has been a thing for a while. We thought we'd gotten rid of it, but it's back. Yeah, it's back in the sense where the Fold 7 gets the 8 Elite and then the Flip 7 gets the Exynos chipset. Now, what's interesting is in my testing, they've done a very good job when it comes to the optimization for battery. Now, of course, what helps the Flip 7 specifically is the increase in the battery capacity. But if you look at the Flip 7 FE, the Exynos 2400 does a good job with 4000 milliamps as well. So they've done well when it comes to the battery optimization. The thermals, by the looks of it as well, looks to really perform really well. So overall, I don't see them switching to Exynos being a problem this time around. I think it's met the requirements. But again, what does that basically mean for outright performance? When we look at things like the Geekbench score, again, I'll show the difference. It is still a huge difference when we look at what we're seeing from previous generation and also even the 8 Elite. So that's an interesting one. Yeah, I'm torn between the two when it comes to it. Pricing. Again, let me know in the comment section below what you think. I think, yeah, that is something that should be considered. So yeah, that is the Flip 7 so far. And then the last comment on the Flip 7 is that these things aren't Samsung's fault, but rather the developers of the app and game. It should be pretty obvious, but you see, this is in reference to my day in the life because when it got to the final part with the gaming, I was actually playing Asphalt 9 on both the Flip 7 and the Flip 7 FE. And when you get to the graphics settings, right, you're either capped at 96 frames a second or 80 frames a second. Now, usually when it comes to the Snapdragon chipsets, you have the 420 FPS option and it's not there. Now, to say it's obvious, this is a thing that circles back around with Exynos chips all the time. They take longer to be optimized for, and even if it's not longer to be optimized for, they never get the full fat treatment that the Snapdragon chips do. So if you look at the fact that the Exynos 2400 was capped at a maximum 96 frames a second, and then the Exynos 2500 is capped at 80 frames a second. Well, when is that going to happen in terms of getting a maximum FPS at 96 or 120 hertz or 20 FPS like what you do on the Snapdragon chips? This is where there's always that odd point of contention in terms of what are you sacrificing moving to the in-house Exynos chipset? They've done a great job with it, but you know, to what cost and what, you know, extent of missing out on certain things? That's my only point of contention when it comes to the Exynos chipsets that I don't like at the moment when it comes to Samsung using them. But overall, for every day, and most people, even with the ability of enabling DeX and having that power, this is the first flip phone to be able to do it. So they've done a good job there, but that's something to be considered. And I don't think it's necessarily so obvious on the developers. Maybe it just doesn't have the graphical horsepower to go all the way. So that's to be seen. Let's wait and pretty much see if that changes. Now, some final honorable mention comments from the reviews that I did on these devices. And yeah, it's really encouraging and I really appreciate the support there. This comment says, wow, the intro was Oscar worthy. Really appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for that. And this is where new people come onto the channel that I really love. So I saw this channel just now and I'm shocked, in brackets, in a good way, of course. I love the attention to detail and love the cinema camera quality that you're using. I'm excited to watch other videos there as well. Yeah, that was my third installment in my 8K cinematic reviews. And the first one I did was on the OnePlus 13, second one was on the S25 Ultra, and obviously the most recent one is on the Galaxy Z Fold 7, which I believe is my best one yet, but definitely watch the playlist for the other 8K reviews. It's really something I'm enjoying, and I hope you're enjoying them too. More to come. And then we've got this one that says, this man is out here making movies. I see you, my dude. Yeah, much appreciated, bro. Yeah, I'm trying my best to just put my own signature spin on reviews and just make them a bit different to what other people are seeing. But yeah, that is pretty much it with this Q&A 1 month later with the Flip 7 and the Fold 7. Definitely has been an interesting one. I think Samsung have done a great job with these devices. I definitely expect more. But what I'm happy to see is that they are in a position where you see them finally waking up to try again. So there's more to come in terms of longevity. There's more to come in terms of the future releases, but this is a good direction. I just hope eventually they put a dedicated 4x or 5x zoom on a flip device so I can really feel comfortable to use it. And I hope they just get rid of the 3x and upgrade it to a proper 5x and make it a complete camera system and everything else that can maybe return that will make people happy, be it S Pen, the UDC, you know, anti-glare with the Gorilla Glass Armor Generation 2 or more. Let's see what happens in the future. In the meantime, be sure to check out the new wallpapers that we've pretty much launched and collaborating with. Link in the description below. Really happy with these, and yeah, there's going to be more coming later on with future releases and stuff. But for now, I think we're really happy with what we're doing with the launch of these wallpapers, which I'm really excited about. Also, a big shout out to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring a portion of this video. Check the link in the description below. Use my code special link and get an extra 4 months. And yeah, that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.